Dear Mr. A&R, we all struggling artists. Realize the world is cold, but we came here to spark it. Swimming little guppies in a sea full of sharks. It's gonna take a miracle to not end up hard.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Inside the Six with Ian and Thomas.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
So, as you might know, the group stage of the World Cup has ended. And you might remember last episode I ripped up my bracket. And it basically stayed that way.
Yeah, mine was shot day one. So
everything continued to go not the way we expected it to go.
Yeah.
And I actually, I can't remember which game it was, but I heard an announcer say something that was really smart. And it was, you can't figure out the World Cup. Just sit back and enjoy it. I mean, and
yeah,
he's absolutely right. I mean,
yeah.
it's, the whole point of this is, to enjoy the game. It's the greatest tournament in the world.
And to be honest, I've enjoyed every minute of it. I mean, it's been edge of your seat kind of stuff, and I've really enjoyed it. And I think I think that's the only positive thing as a U.S. fan of not having the U.S. national team in the World Cup this time, because we get to sit back and enjoy, all the other competitions. We're not worried about, I believe that we will win. You get to watch all the other teams, fighting for positions, and it's been really enjoyable for me.
Yeah, I mean, I remember before the tournament started, we both said that Group H would be the group of death.
Yes.
And I think it absolutely turned out to be that way.
Sure.
Because for the first time in FIFA World Cup history, it came down to FIFA fair play points.
Yeah.
So simply the fact that Senegal had more yellow cards,
I know,
cost them a spot in the round of 16. And
that floored me. I mean, it came down that far.
I mean, I think it was 2 yellow cards apart.
Yeah,
Japan
4 and
had
6.
4. Yeah, and Senegal had 6.
Yep.
And after the game, I was listening to the announcers again, and Alexi Lalas made a great point for the first time in history.
I was just say that's a lie.
He says, I mean, it's kind of unfair to to judge based off that. You
have to have something. I mean, what are you going to do? They had the same amount of points, had the same wins. Their head-to-head was equal.
And
you have to do something.
He even said, I mean, obviously this is the best way to do it right now, but it's still unfair because Senegal played their heart out. I mean, they played every second to the max. I mean, he even said, I mean, FIFA fair play points basically take away the advantageous point of attacking. You got to sit back and be careful, because if you pick up yellow cards, you might not make it through.
Well,
I mean, that kind of takes away from the entertainment value, because you're not seeing as much, stressed attacking. They're being more careful in how they do things. And
I'm going to disagree with that. I mean, I don't think that getting yellow cards adds to the entertainment value. I mean, I've only been playing soccer actually for 6 years, and I've only ever gotten 1 yellow card in 6 years, and it wasn't even for a gameplay foul. It was actually for language. And with all the soccer that I do play, I mean, I play, matches and tournaments and everything, and to have 1 yellow card in 6 years, and I play my heart out. I mean, I play as hard as I can play every time. So I don't think that it's unfair that Senegal's not there because of yellow card accumulation. It's sad. I feel for them, because yes, they did play their hearts out. They gave absolutely everything they had.
They will most certainly be missed.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm a Sadio Mane fan, I mean, he's one of my favorite players. And, for him not to be there, kind of hurts my feelings for him. But at the same time, it's just one of those things. The yellow cards are there not as entertainment value. The yellow cards are there to say, hey, listen, you've gone over the top. You're here. You should be here. You know, it doesn't have anything to do with entertainment value. Is it harsh? Yeah, yeah. You know, for it to come down that far, but at the same time, you know, they had the same number of points on wins and draws. They had the same positive goal differential, which I think was 0. And even their head-to-head was a 2-2 draw. You have to go on something. I mean, what were they supposed to do? Just, you know, do it like maybe 2 15-minute halves
Actually,
between those two with a golden goal
actually,
or a shootout or something.
In the rule book, it says if FIFA fair play points are equal, it comes down to basically a flip of the coin. I mean, they go that. I mean, at the end of the group stage, they go and they pick out of like a hat, basically. Say, all right,
well, I mean, is that any more fair than, hey, you got 6 yellow cards and they only got 4? I mean, that's, you know, at that point it comes down to, you know, let's just roll the dice, you know.
I mean, yeah. I mean, and there were several situations coming down to the last group stage games that, I mean, it could have gone to fair play points. I remember, I think Germany and Sweden were even on points.
Yes.
Obviously, that didn't end the way anybody thought it would end.
No.
We'll go over that later. And then Group G. I believe G, with Belgium and England.
Yes.
They were even on fair play points coming down to their head-to-head match. Had that match ended in a draw, it would have come down to it would have been England progressing forward because they had fewer yellow cards. In first place.
Wow.
Obviously, that didn't end
Right.
that way, and neither did the Germany-Sweden group. Coming back to Germany, down go the champions.
Yeah.
They will not be progressing forward into the round of 16, and 4 of the previous 5 World Cup champions have all gone out in the group stage.
I think the last one to do back-to-back World Cup champions was Brazil, and I want to say it was 1960 something.
I believe that it's like the 50s
I forget
and 60s,
yeah, but it was Brazil was the last time, and it's been, you know, 50 years
and
since
that just
someone
shows,
has doubled up.
That just shows how how even some of these teams are.
Yeah.
I mean, you get a team like Germany, who's I still think is one of the best teams in the world. They just didn't play to the way that to the level that they could have, and the level that they should have.
It was mildly disappointing to me.
It was. I mean, we both had Germany winning the World Cup.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the biggest screw up of our brackets.
And my bracket was scrubbed day one.
So
the first day I was like, what? You know, because I made the joke, you know, two episodes ago or last episode that, you know, Tunisia was going to take this. You know, Tunisia came to play. They finished up their last match. I mean, they were going out regardless, but they finished up their last match with a 2-1 win. You know, teams that no one, teams that no one would have thought were, you know, going to go through, or, you know, or just we're just going to get clobbered, didn't. You know, I mean, Iceland. You know, I think most of the world was, you know, and in some sense of the word, was rooting for Iceland, just because of the way they performed in the Euros a couple of years ago, and they showed up, you know, and I was very proud of them, and I think they have everything to look forward to. They keep building on what they've done, and I think they're going to be a solid force in European football, you know, going forward. But Germany, it was like I said, it was mildly disappointing to me. Yeah, and I was watching the South Korea match. I was watching the other match, and then it ended, and then they switched to the very last moments of the South Korea match, and I was like, "You've got to be kidding me!" You know, and those of you who know me know I've got some anxiety disorders, and I have a service animal for that, and she started reacting just because of my reactions to what was going on in the World Cup. I mean, you know, it triggered my animal, which just, you know, I mean, that's But that's a part of the enjoyment of this tournament for me, and especially this particular one has been so exciting. I mean, there's been just some disappointments, Germany going out, and the Brazilian fans actually held a funeral for Germany in the streets of Russia the other day. They were carrying, coffins draped in German flags through the streets. That's
hilarious.
I mean, it's it's a little cold hearted, but it's still. I mean,
hey,
okay,
look,
have fun,
they
enjoy.
They got thrashed 7-1 4 years ago. I think they can have a little fun.
Yeah, and like I said, it's a little cold hearted, but I think it's all a good fun. At the same time, I saw Mexico fans carrying South Korean fans on their shoulders. Because South Korea went out, but they short dragged Germany right along with them. Mm-hmm. But a great tournament so far. I'm really enjoying. I cannot wait to see what happens in the round of 16, with some of these teams not performing at peak, and still making it through. You got Argentina, through on this by the skin of their teeth, and they're going to play France here in a couple days.
Now, so, speaking of round of 16, you want to go through a quick short list of who we think is going to win and make it to the quarterfinals?
Yeah, we can do that.
Starting with France-Argentina, that's the first game. I got to go France.
I got to go with France on that one, too, just because of the way Argentina's been playing.
Unless Argentina picks it up, I think their run is done.
Yeah,
Uruguay-Portugal.
I'm going with Portugal on that one.
I'm going with Portugal, too. Portugal is a solid team. They made it out of a relatively tough group, and they've got obviously some of the best players in the world, including Ronaldo, who despite me being a Messi fan, I think right now Ronaldo is by far the best player in the world right now. Just the way that Messi's playing in this World Cup, it's not up to his standards.
Yeah, and I think he knows that. I don't think that's. And I think that's part of the problem right now. I think that there's so much pressure heaped on him as the one and only guy who can pull this off for Argentina, and I think it's gotten to him, mentally and emotionally. I think it's distracted him. The creativity's not there. I mean, he's a number 10. This is the guy you're supposed to count on to make plays, and to come up with the ideas of how to get in behind and whatnot. And I'm not seeing that from him, and you can see it on his face. I mean, when he scored that goal the other day, you could tell how much that meant to him, and the Argentine fans, as well. But you can see it on his face. I mean, this cat is just—he's exhausted already, and I would never discount his abilities or his talent or his skill. He is an absolute phenomenal player, and it's thrilling to watch him. But like I said, I think a lot of the pressure has taken away from his game this tournament, and it's just not there, and it's sad. So I'll agree with you. During this tournament, Ronaldo's is the guy to beat right now. A month ago, someone would have washed my mouth out with soap for saying that.
Now, moving
it is what
on,
it is.
let's see. We got Spain, Russia. I was very surprised to see Russia was second in the group after their demolishings of Saudi Arabia and Uruguay. Or not Uruguay, Egypt.
Egypt, yeah.
But Uruguay was able to pull out a win against Russia and force them down to second. Who do you got winning Spain, Russia?
Ooh, Russia came to play. They're the hosts. So did Spain. This one's going to be a tough. This is going to be a tough call. I'm going to go with Spain.
I'm going to agree with you.
Yeah, just because it's Spain and they're a powerhouse team. I'm not going to discount Russia. I'm not slighting them at all. And I don't want to say it's beginner's luck or whatever. It wouldn't completely shock me if Russia pulled it off. But in the grand scheme of things, I got to say Spain's the one to go with on this.
Then we got Croatia, Denmark. That's an easy one for me, Croatia.
Yeah.
Denmark's been playing extremely well, but Croatia is just demolishing teams. They made it out of their group easily. It's very fun to watch them play right now. Here's a huge one. We got Brazil against Mexico.
I'm gonna go with Mexico here. They have brought their game.
I'm gonna disagree. I'm gonna go with Brazil because I think, yeah, they beat Germany, but they kind of lost their momentum since then. They haven't.
Well, and that's a
been
good
able
fact.
to-
Yeah.
They haven't been able to pick up the pace and continue going. I mean,
That's a good point.
it's only 1-0 win against Germany, 2-1 win against South Korea, and then a 3-0 loss to Sweden.
Yeah.
It just I gotta go with Brazil on that one.
Yeah,
Brazil
I
just-
think I'll agree with you. I forgot about the 3-0 spanking. I don't know how I forgot about that because I was watching it, and that's the one I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening in front of me. And my dog started reacting. So, yeah, I'll agree with you. I'll go with Brazil on that one.
And then we got
You
Belgium,
changed my mind.
Japan. Got Belgium.
Yeah, that's easy for me. That's easy for me.
I mean, coming into their final game against England, which was one of the games I was really looking forward to watching, and it was just kind of disappointing because neither team really played their starting 11. I mean, Harry Kane didn't even play. For England, you didn't even see you didn't see Eden Hazard, you didn't see Romelu Lukaku, you didn't see Dries Martins for Belgium. It was kind of disappointing.
And while that's a disappointment, go ahead.
I will say the one goal that was scored because Belgium pulled out a 1-0 win against England to win the group from Januzaj was absolutely beautiful. Completely in contention for goal of the tournament so far. It was a magnificent goal.
You were saying that they didn't play their starters and yeah, that's a little disappointing. This is a huge tournament. This is everybody's watching this thing, and they're watching it to see guys like Eden Hazard and Romelu Lukaku and Harry Kane and Dele Alli, those guys. But at the same time, when you've got these two teams who already know they're going through, we've already got first place and second place. We're going through the round of 16. We've got these big stars who we're going to be counting on heavily, in the round of 16 and hopefully, quarterfinals and semifinals and championships and whatnot. We already know that we're through. Let's sit our big boys down.
Yeah.
Give them a little bit of rest. Yeah, give them a little bit of rest. Sure. And it also helps, your substitutes, your second string guys. It gives them, and now they've got that World Cup taste.
They've got
like,
minutes on the pitch.
Yeah.
They've got,
yeah.
They've got a little bit of experience in case they need to go on in a semifinal or a final game.
Sure.
They can come on and be proficient enough to continue on in the game, finish the game off, either get a winning goal or keep a lead, or come back from defeat and win a game. They've got that talent now. They've got that experience, which is, like I said, it was disappointing, but it was a good choice from both coaches,
right?
Both Gareth Southgate and Roberto Martinez, to kind of play these younger guys that haven't got much playing time.
Agreed. And it's really cool for them. They can go and say, I played in the World Cup. I'm BA, man.
Last two games for the round of 16 is Sweden and Switzerland. That's a really tough one.
It's a tough one. I'm leaning towards Switzerland, but at the same time, Sweden's got some pretty good momentum going right now, and I think they're feeling it. I think they're in the mood
as well.
Yeah.
Like you said earlier, I wouldn't be surprised if Sweden pulled it off.
Right. Yeah.
That would be. It wouldn't be surprising in any way, shape, or form.
No.
Those are two teams that fought their way through tough groups, and they both got momentum going forward. It'll be exciting to see what happens there.
Yep.
Let's see. Last game, we got Colombia and England. I'm gonna go with England simply because it seemed like Colombia struggled out of their group a little bit.
Yeah. And like I said, I think England's in the mood. Given the fact that we've already discussed that, their big boys are rested, and I'll agree. Colombia did seem to struggle a little, even though they finished. I think they finished first in their group. I don't think they won it handily. It took them a little bit.
It came down to the last day.
Yeah. You know. So there you have that. So that'll get us through to the quarterfinals. So.
Mm-hmm. So moving on, we'll kind of talk about some of the games, or the goals of the tournament for me so far. I've got 3 that I want to discuss. The first one being Ronaldo's 3rd goal against Spain. I mean, that free kick, I mean, obviously early on in the tournament was probably one of the most beautiful goals I've seen in a while. Which I think was slightly topped by Toni Kroos's last second goal.
That's the one for me right now. Because of the timing.
It was, I mean, the timing, and obviously, I mean, just watching it, you know, the small movement right at the beginning before he actually took the kick. It wasn't straight from the set piece. It was a moving ball. I mean, you could tell that was straight from the training ground. I mean, that's something that they practiced.
Yeah.
And it was magnificent to watch. And then the 3rd goal in contention is the Januzaj goal for Belgium against England.
I haven't seen that one yet. Yesterday was a really busy day for me. I've got it recorded. I haven't watched it yet.
I mean, it's just, you kind of see it and you're like, yeah, there's no way that's gonna happen. And then, you know, he gets a touch to his left and is able to place it, and it's just, I mean, Jordan Pickford got a fingertip to it, but it just wasn't enough. It was technically beautiful. It was beautiful just to watch, and beautiful just to see it happen. And I was lucky enough to see it live.
Nice.
Moving on, I guess we'll kind of talk about some of the disappointments so far. We've kind of already talked about Germany. There was a lot riding on, Egypt with Mo Salah. I think that was kind of a disappointment.
Yeah.
As well.
It didn't happen differently than I really expected it to. As much of a fan as I am of Mohamed Salah, especially being a Liverpool supporter, I wanted to see him and his team do well. And I think he was disappointed too, because there's actually rumors that he's talking about already quitting the national team. I hope that's not true. Don't give up just because you didn't win the World Cup first round. But so Mo, if you're listening, stay with us, buddy. Hopefully he's listening. That would be cool. Something. Yeah, that'd be cool.
I think we already talked about Germany. How that's just. Looking back on the past couple years or the past couple World Cups, I guess historically we should have seen it as a possibility. I think the big shock was the fact that nobody actually thought it would be a possibility. They won the Confederations Cup last year. They're still they were the number 1 team in the world, the reigning champions. It kind of came as a, what the heck just happened?
Yeah, it really did. It was kind of that, those moments kept happening to Germany. With the opening matches against Mexico, and then it was a shock. Because you would talk about who's going to win the World Cup. I would think before this tournament started, everybody, I would say probably 80% of the people you talk to would say Germany, and then you got your people who say Spain or Brazil and Portugal. It was really a surprise.
I remember talking to you a couple days ago about when we found out they were going to be eliminated, what we thought would happen with Yogi Love. We both said we thought that he would be removed as manager. And seeing some of the press conferences he's had after the elimination, I don't think he's going to be taken down anymore. He's handling this very well with the German Football Association. Basically, he said, "Look, this is a huge disappointment for me. This is a huge disappointment for everybody on this team. This is a huge disappointment for the entire country. We're going to look at this as a learning tool, use it as motivation to get better, and we'll come back in 2 years for the Euros and for the Olympics.
For the Olympics.
And see we're gonna get back on track. This is a small hiccup. This kind of stuff happens. We're gonna fix this. He handled it extremely professionally and extremely well, to the point that I don't think he's gonna be removed as manager anymore.
And I was, and that's an interesting fact. I was talking to one of my teammates the other night. I had a soccer match. We were talking about the same thing. What's going to happen to Jurgen Löw and the German national team. And we both kind of agreed that it was, maybe a good thing for them, at this point. If Love does get, sacked, it's kind of the same thing that the U.S. is going through right now with their national team. It's an opportunity to rebuild. Just scrap what's happening and let's start fresh. Let's bring in a whole new generation of players. And that's what the U.S. is doing right now. And so far, it seems to be the right direction. When they got rid of Bruce Arena and then because what was happening is they kept bringing up the same players over and over and over. Clint Dempsey and Josie Altidore and Michael Bradley. The same players over and not performing. And they're like, oh well, we'll get them next time. Well, next time ran out, and now we're not in the World Cup. So finally they decided, okay, let's just start from scratch. And like I said, so far it seems to be working. And I think Germany has that same opportunity. Do they have to sack Jurgen Löw to do that? No. And is it wise to keep him? It could be. I mean, he's a great manager. He's a great coach. He's got to really stop putting his hand in his pants. That's just weird. But as far as his football tactics and things like that, he's really good. So with that being said, hopefully he does use this as a learning opportunity, and say, okay, we're going to go forward, and we're going to rebuild. We're going to reassess. We're going to find out what we need, what we don't need, what we can get, what we can't get. Put all those pieces out on the table and put them together in the order that they need to be put in order. And move forward. So hopefully in 2 years with the Olympics, Germany, again is going to be, a contender. Are they contenders now? I think so. I think they just had a bad run.
It happens. I mean, it's still it happens. Anything can happen.
And it was still a big shock. So hopefully, everything gets better for them from here.
I guess the other two teams for me that were kind of disappointing. Argentina, who did make it through to the round of 16, but I mean, obviously they were very disappointing in their play. Hopefully they can pick it up. I mean, their lives are still a lot. They're still alive in this World Cup. Hopefully they could rejuvenate themselves, come back. Messi could pick up the pace. He can inspire this team and make another run like they did 4 years ago into the final. And I talked about it earlier. Senegal. It was kind of just disappointing to see how they went out. I mean, obviously, I think they deserved a spot, but too many fouls cost them a spot. It happens.
And you were talking about hopefully that Messi can inspire his team. What I hope happens is his team inspires him. I mentioned before that you can see on his face the amount of stress, the pressure that's on him to perform right now. And I think his team needs to let him know that, listen, hey, man, we're behind you. And we're in this together. And I think that's where it should be for them right now. And if is that where they are, I don't know. That remains to be seen. When they come up against France in a couple of days, we're going to see how the dressing room is, and hopefully something happens for them, because I mean I admire Leo Messi, but he's got to understand that there's 11 people on that pitch wearing the same uniform, and they have to understand that too. Those other 10 guys need to understand it's not just Messi. This is the Argentine national team. This isn't Leo Messi. So hopefully they inspire him. The fans, I think, are definitely behind them, especially in the last match. When they won, you could definitely tell, what that meant to the fans, and they made a boatload of noise. So we'll see.
I think that kind of wraps up our group stage wrap up of the World Cup. It's been very exciting so far.
Yes, very.
And now that we're entering into the knockout phase with a new ball. I don't know if you guys have heard about that, but Adidas has released a new ball specifically for the knockout stages with matching cleats that are brilliantly designed and beautiful.
Yes.
They are nice. It's going to be very exciting to see what happens with these matches, because it is do or die. You've got one chance to move on to the next round. If you don't get 3 games to kind of pick up the pace a little bit and settle in, you got to be settled in.
This is the win or go home stage. Win or go home.
I think that is.
I have one little tidbit. I wish I had a way to share it with you, but what you need to do is you need to go to YouTube and you need to search for Michy Batshuayi, because he has had the moment of the tournament.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I had to watch it 100 times because a kid who's got this kind of talent and skill to do this. Apparently, it was a celebration kick. He was just going to kick the ball. It bounced off of the post and hit him square in his face. And he's laughing the whole time.
I'll put a link in the description.
So that's Ian's happy corner for the week. Go find it because you could tell he was still having fun. But it was hilarious. I love
him as a player.
Yeah, he's a good player.
One of my favorite players of all time right now. I was very sad to see him leave Chelsea, but I'm glad that he's doing well at Dortmund.
He's rocking it. So go check that out. We want to thank you guys for tuning in and watching this. Again, this is something Thomas and I do mostly for fun. We really enjoy doing this together. It's kind of a special thing for us, and we're glad to share it with you guys. So thank you. We want to thank our friend Macrophonic MC for providing us with the super cool intro and outro music. And check out the t-shirt shop. Links will be in descriptions and things like that. Check out the sticker shop. We've got a new logo. Thomas and his friend Owen designed a new logo. It's going to support breast cancer research. So that's very important to us. My wife has been very recently diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer, and we're fighting it. Prognosis is great. It's just it's going to be a long battle. It's going to take about a year to beat this. So check out that new design. It's really cool. So
it's right here.
Yes. It's awesome. So thanks, Owen and Thomas, for working that out. Check out Macrophonic MC's music. Go to the t-shirt shop. Go to the sticker shop. And watch lots of footy. If you guys have any comments or suggestions for us, please leave those for us. We want to hear back from you. We enjoy that as well. And we will see you next time for some wrap-up of quarterfinal stuff. Thanks for watching, everybody. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, round of 16. Oops, way ahead of myself. So we'll see you then, too. All right.
Yep. All right, thanks, guys. Bye.
Dear Mr. A&R, we all struggling artists. Realize the world is cold, but we came here to spark it. Swimming little guppies in a sea full of sharks. It's gonna take a miracle to not end up hard.